Moin Moin, welcome everyone to another episode of Cycles TV here at the Foundation for the Study of Cycles. My name is Lars and I welcome you to this 20 to 30 minutes talking about cycles, cycle analysis in current market environment. That's why we are here every week on Monday, showcasing discussion about current environment and relations to cycle analysis. So thanks for joining me today. As always, feel free to drop me your questions you want to discuss during the sessions in the live chat listed beside the video. I will monitor your questions and try to go over them while we run the show today. Yes, so today I have one topic is on the agenda, which I want to outline today, and I've picked today. And it's about mainly thank you for giving feedback to the ideas, picking the most liked, the most views, ideas, which brings me to a topic I want to talk today. So if we just look at our ideas section and just sort by most viewed, there is one clear found example here, which is standing out from your perspective here, which is about the Hurst nominal model, in this case crude, but I think the example was meant to have a general example on how to pick this. And this is a very good example how to work with the cycle analyzer. So, and that's the key reason I've picked it today, not mainly going into the depth of Hurst and Hurst analysis, but what you can do with the cycle analyzer. And I've also listened to your proposal, which I will show you in a second. So let's jump into the idea which was presented here. By clicking on it, every one of you can do this and open this model also on your own. And I think the key which was picked here, it was the analysis using crude oil as data set here, which has been used for this data. Then running the cycle analysis as standard procedure. And then instead of following the approach, I mainly explain how to do this in a simple way. Here, it's following the nominal model Hurst developed during the 1970s, around that, based on his experience and picking these cycles. So therefore, first, thanks Hunsinger for bringing this idea up. And I mean, the seminar is not about going into the details of Hurst cycle analysis, but in general, and I think that's the key of this analysis, and this is what I want to refer here and also bring up to your eyes, is it's the harmonic model Hurst introduced in his model. So using an 18 years, 9 years, 45 months, 18 months, 40 weeks, 20 weeks, 18 days, 40 days, 20 days nominal cycle model. So if you go through the numbers, you will see that there is always an harmonic involved in picking this nominal cycle model. And Hurst has written a lot about that. And the idea here is that we use the cycle scanner to detect or find the nearest fit mapped to the nominal Hurst model here. So, and this is the example which was shown here or presented as an idea. So the first cycle length, and this is then converted here into trading days. Yeah, so if we follow this model here, then we can use the 376 trading days as first cycle length here, which then revolves into the best fit with the 356 days found in crude oil in regards to trading days. And now the cycle detection here was done completely independent from using Hurst approach or Hurst experience on his nominal cycle model. So here we've used digital signal processing, frequency analysis, to derive which cycles are available in this data set. This is what the table shows us, and this is what the the peaks in this spectrum here show us. You will know about that. So, but now choosing the right combination for the composite, we use the idea of Hurst, or this is what Honsinger here showed us, and using now, instead of the pure static nominal model, we look out for the best fit of this model in regards to which cycles are really there in this model. And this also fits into the idea of Hurst, because these cycles are not fit. Nominal always or only means they are called this way, but there's an average cycle length which deviates about the average cycle of the 20 weeks and 40 week cycle. So this does not mean we are fixed to this cycle length. It's just called the 20 weeks, 40 weeks, or let's say 18 month cycle. So, and there's always an average daily cycle length behind, which is allowed to deviate against this cycle length. So in the real world, we will not see the exact nominal cycle length, but we can use it to use the digital signal processing, find the real cycles, and then just pick exactly the harmonic cycle model from the Hurst model here. So this is the idea which was shown here, and I think most of you are comfortable with this idea anyhow. And the suggestion which was also included in this idea, and I like this anyhow, so that we maybe have a Hurst button to extract nearest fit. Yeah, and that's the topic. We listen to you, we take your feedback serious, and we are about the community. We are a foundation to study cycles. Yeah, so therefore it's important that we get this feedback and think about it. It's implemented. Yes, it's there. We have this button now already there. So and that's why I'm proud of that. You select the ones which are of most interest for you, which you did in this case by the most viewed ones. And I can then help to put this into practice. So if you have a look at the cycle scanner, there is a new button available, yeah, in the upper right corner of your screen, which is called Auto. Yeah, it's and that's the purpose of this button is to have different ways to build an auto composite. Yeah, because in the past, and what I've always teach and explained is how you select the right cycles manually by going over the list of active cycles here. So if we completely deselect all cycles, this is how the cycle analysis looks like once you have started the cycle scanner. The basic approach is, and it's still most important that you do understand the reasoning how to pick cycles. So what's the Bartle score? What's the strength score? What's the length? Which one should I pick? What's the dominant cycle one? So these are the basics you need to know. And you need to be very careful with whatever automatic algorithm which might pick something for you. But in regards to the Hurst model, which is a well-known and well-familiar model in the cycles area, it makes absolutely sense to have this as one possibility. There's an abbreviation which is called nominal cycle nearest fit, NCNF, nominal cycle nearest fit. Yeah, so and you can configure your own nominal model in the advanced section here. So this is where you set up and configure your nominal cycle nearest fit model you want to apply to the chart. So, and that's also the reason I have not called it the Hurst model, because there are different ways and different possibilities how to use this. So therefore I just called it a nominal cycle model. So you put in the numbers in this field here. What's the model you will look for the nearest fit? Yeah, in this case, I just pulled over the idea which Honsinger put in, and we can talk about the Hurst nominal model in a second. But you can change this to whatever nominal model you would like to get the nearest fit into. So in this case, we use these 5 cycles derived from the Hurst nominal model in average trading days, which is put here, and you can change this by entering this. If you don't do anything. This is the standard setting. And if you now go to the auto button and then you activate, because normally nothing will happen in the scanner, you need to do this manually. But if you want now to apply the nominal cycle nearest fit model for auto composite, you just click this button here, and then the cycle scanner and the algorithm will automatically select the cycles which have the nearest fit to the selected model. So in this case, you see automatically that these cycles now have been selected here for this model. So that's mainly it. So you see, I mean, it's not my example here, so credits go to Hunsinger to showcase this. We've just ensured that you're now able to repeat this method and approach on whatever data set with just a click on your mouse button. To showcase the same idea on different data sets, the way how to do this is just go to whatever data set you're interested, go to, for example, the S&P 500 index, pull up your analysis. And if you now want to have a quick Hurst model, nominal model applied, normally you would look through the main lows and then align visually by the cycle lows on the chart, and then it's statically projected into the future. But I think this is much more comfortable to use the digital signal processing for the cycles which are really there, not using our eyes to align just the lows which are visually available for us. So the digital signal processing is much more able to detect the cycles which are in this data set. So therefore, let's apply our auto nominal cycle nearest fit model here, which will then pre-select exactly the length which are in the range, so the nearest fit to the nominal Hurst model, which gives you then this pre-selection of composite cycle here using for this analysis we have used here. So it's a nice fit in the past, and this is then the projection looking into the future for the S&P. So this example shows you how to use the Hurst nominal cycle nearest fit alignment approach on the S&P 500. So now you can do this by just a click on the mouse button, and then this model will be applied to pre-select the cycles which will go into the composite model builder for the auto composite. So that's mainly it. So that's how I want to work with you from week to week, with taking your feedback into account, improving our cycle analysis, which makes it more easy then for you to apply it. So let's now maybe talk at least for a second on the numbers here, and why I also need to mention a little bit of caution for this idea. Because every time you have a button, auto composite, or whatever model is behind it, you need to treat it with care and be very careful, because often you don't know what happens in the back and you just want a button to click, give me the best cycle outlook model, and then something happens, like magic happens. But if you deal with cycle analysis, you should understand what's happening in the back end. So, and even if you use this for the Hurst nominal model, that's very important. So, but I see some questions in relation to that are rushing in. So let's pay some attention to questions you have on that, and then I will continue also talking on that. So Mark, how does one apply the Hurst nominal cycle nearest fit to weekly data given a long-term data series? So to require different numbers for weekly, monthly. Yes, and thanks for asking, Mark, because this brings me to the important topic to mention, that you need to configure what numbers, what's your nominal model. And you're right, the nominal model needs to fit to the length or the bar-to-bar distance you've chosen on your chart here. So this model, which has been pre-built or pre-configured here in the advanced tab, is based on trading days. It's not only days, it's also important to mention the trading days. So if you switch your analysis to a weekly chart, you need to reconfigure these numbers here. So then you need to translate the Hurst nominal model in the nominal number of weeks. Yeah, so that's what is not pre-built into this. So then you need to go to the nominal model of the Hurst model, but there are different public publications out there referencing to the Hurst nominal model. So on the left-hand side here, you see the cycle length. And in the middle, you see the average wavelength. And if you deal with weekly charts, you need to convert these numbers into weeks instead of days. So what you do if you, I've not prepared this, so, but to do this, you need to change these figures here. So instead of using trading days as the nearest fit model, you need to convert it into weeks. So you need to calculate this on your own. What would be the nearest fit model? You change the numbers here, so you can put in whatever numbers here. So this is up to you. You can convert it to weeks, put it in the nominal cycle fit form here in the advanced settings tab, and then you can apply the model. So, and thanks for this question, because this relates to my topic. You need to be careful. So if you switch to weekly chart, you always do a nominal cycle nearest fit. And it depends on what you have put into the configuration tab. What is your nominal model? If you deal with weekly chart, you need to put in weekly numbers. If you deal with daily charts, you need to put in daily numbers, which is the pre-built idea from the selection here. So Mark, this is then how to move on with weekly data. Stefano, is it possible in future to add a button for clear select cycle without search one by one on the list? Yeah, that's a simple one, but I agree with you. I also have often the situation then you go through the list manually and need to deselect everything here. I agree. I will also take this account for the next release. Should be an easy one. Thanks, Stefano, for making this proposal. Okay. Mark, so yeah, let me know if this answers your question. Otherwise, feel free to come up and then we can discuss it even further. And that's exactly also the point why you need to treat this with caution. You need to know what happens if you click the auto button. And I anyhow have in mind different additional features on how to build an auto composite. There's not only the nominal model introduced by Hurst, there are other interesting ways to derive an automatic detection of composite for your cycle plot. But we will introduce this while we move forward. Okay, so, and therefore I think I've also shown you this. And there are different models or publications out. I would recommend visit the Thienen Trader. Has done a lot of research on the Hurst model and on software implementing, especially the Hurst model. They have also been part of our summit last year. So they showcased this model. So you can go back in our cycle summit for summer last year, summer 2020. They made a great presentation on this Hurst model. And I've just pulled up this nominal model from their website. So there's nothing special. It's based on the cycles course Hurst did in the 1970s. So they put this into practice, and we are just using now a similar approach here to combine this with digital signal processing. But what I want to mention here, and this was also part of the summit here, you need to be aware of what length you are charting and analyzing and what numbers you're putting here, because the average wavelength shown here, in this section, refers to calendar days, and therefore you need to convert the calendar days then to trading days. This is what Hunsinger already did within his idea, but therefore you also need to understand what you do with these numbers. As Mark also asked about, okay, what should I do with weekly data? Transform it to weekly data. So therefore you need to be aware of, do I have calendar days? Do I have trading days? So if you upload maybe your individual data set, which run over calendar days, then you need to adjust the numbers. So then the numbers here just pre-entered in this field here might not work. Maybe I should even clean up these numbers here so that you need to select them right from the start. Because the problem I see is that this can then run into lots of claims when users don't know just pressing the auto button. So therefore it's important, I want to mention that this is just based on the idea you need to know which numbers to put in. So it depends on your data set, it depends on your time span you are using on this data, and therefore you might need to adjust these numbers here. Okay, so another topic of the Hurst nominal model idea is anyhow that there's the inside this model there's the harmonic relation of these cycles, yeah, for each other. And this is also an interesting another finding which I just outline as another model, and I might leave it up to you then to pick your cycles. You know that we are also focusing on the so-called dominant cycle. Yeah, and the dominant cycle, or you can derive it also on your own, pick the cycle with the highest strength from this dashboard here. So this is the most important cycle on the data set, at least the most important in regards influencing price behavior. So that's the dominant cycle. And then you can then start to create a composite just around this dominant cycle. For in this case, let's just put this single one here. And now you use harmonics around this cycle to build your composite. So you could use half of this span, so you would look for a cycle around 80. So here's the 86, which is the half harmonics here. I would add this to this data set, and then you can go down even more. This is the next half is 45 here in this case. And then if you want to go lower, but we don't have lower cycles here. So this is, but you can then also go to the upside, which would then be 320. So the 360 something is then the upper harmonic of this cycle. So, and you will see that this is now maybe quite similar even to the nominal model of Hurst, which I've done here. So therefore, this is what I want to showcase today, how to pick your composite models. And now I've just started with the dominant cycle. Yeah, so, and I will repeat it that you can follow it. So we need a button to deselect all. I got it, Stefano. Another model I anyhow would recommend to do you is look out for the dominant cycle, yeah, which are in simple terms, the cycle with the highest strength. I've explained already sometimes why there might be a difference in the dominant cycle box and the active cycles list, but you can go back to the other seminars, you will understand that. But in this case, look out, or you can sort by strength. Yeah, so start with the dominant cycle for your composite and then use harmonics of this cycle. Harmonics means half this cycle or double of this cycle. Yeah, so, and I just moved down, the half of this cycle is the 86. And then a quarter of this cycle is this around this 45. And double this cycle, you will get to the 330, which is this cycle here. And this is then a composite cycle model out of 4 cycles based on your cycle analysis here, based around the dominant cycle. And if you compare this to the Hurst model, it will be quite similar, but we are not following a nominal cycles model here. So it all depends on the dominant cycle, not on a nominal pre-selected set of cycles. By the way, if you deal then with intraday data, I find it, from my experience, it's much more important to start with the dominant cycle in the real data set and then use the harmonics around the dominant cycle to build your composite cycle. But it's just interesting here that it's more or less the same outcome if you would follow the Hurst nominal model or the dominant cycles model with the harmonics here, picking the cycles. And this is, think about, this will be the second selection, which will show up here. So build an auto composite around the dominant cycle harmonics. Yeah, so we can automatically do this. So you will think about that this will show up as the next selection here. There's other stuff to build in composite here, but that's for the next session. Yes, but let's get back to your topics. Mark Jackson in this case. You're about, if I wanted to relate some data to the musical majors. That's another interesting topic you're referring to. Ratios of 0.1, 0.25, 0.33, 0.5 based on some fundamental cycle. Yeah. For sure, we can help. Maybe that's a little bit related to what I tried to explain around the harmonics anyhow just a second ago. But I mean, the simple answer is not now, because the harmonics is not built into. You won't see the harmonic numbers, and you can't pre-select ratios to build your composite model. So the simple answer is the tool cannot help yet. Yeah, but around the picking harmonics of a cycle or ratios, defining ratios, what for you is a kind of harmonic, and you put the ratios here from the musical major scale. It will show up in future. It's just not there yet, because the harmonics of cycles, or even what is similar to the musical scale, what is happening there in regards to harmonics of some musical scales, makes sense that it sounds nice in your ears. This is also the same for a composite. Yeah, it needs to be harmonically aligned with the cycles. Otherwise, if you deal with sound, it will sound crazy. You will hear it with your eyes. Oh no, this does not sound good from a music player perspective, and same for composites. But yes, the harmonical and ratio top will show up. It's not there yet. So that's the simple answer. And Mark, agree, we should have a preset of pre-selection where you can then switch, or the numbers might be predefined for daily, weekly, and monthly series. I agree with you. The reason why I'm not implementing this right from the start, and I mean, from a technical point of view, that's very easy to implement, but the end user really needs to understand what's happening. And the experience with more and more buttons, which more or less do everything automatically for you, then more and more users will just press buttons of our cycle apps without even understand what's the reasoning behind. And therefore, I want to find a balance between teaching the background and knowledge, which requires that you understand what you are putting in for numbers, which cycles you select. And that's much more important to learn about how to pick cycles of this list and why you pick cycles out of this list than just the simple list which you see here. And the risk is, which more and more automatically buttons, that no one in the future wants to understand the reasoning and just clicking buttons. And but we will find a mix here. So I agree, this button makes sense, and I always try to find a balance in the future to provide learning so that you know what to do, and provide support to make it as easy as possible even to apply this analysis. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. So I just wanted to highlight today the Hurst nominal model. It's built in now to make it more easy for you. Please be aware of what you put in for numbers as your nominal model, because it really depends what you put in. It's not just clicking a button. Be aware of what time frame you have, what nominal model you are referring to. You can change it. I've shown you how to change it. In regards to the market update, there's not much new, just to say that it seems like that the at least major markets on Nasdaq is following our cycles prediction we did starting in February. We showcased that the turn is around the corner. So this forecast and even the models we see in the ideas dashboard support this analysis. So there's no really new analysis around that. So feel free to drop additional questions. Otherwise, I would just close this session for today with providing you to more background on the Hurst nominal model. Reach out to that, and then you can have it more easy in our Cycles app to apply that to your analysis. Thanks for watching us today. Next week, another data set, another idea will show up. So as this is not pre-scripted, we are just picking it what you prefer, what you select matters, so you can influence what we will discuss here on the channel with the most viewed and most liked ideas. And from time to time, we will bring up guests and other ideas. So see you next Monday. Stay safe during these crazy times, and do your cycle analysis, and we will meet again next Monday. Bye.